This idea that everything has to be like super
Picture
polished is fucked, because like you're trying to garner attention. So you need to do something that actually gets attention.
What's going on, everybody? It's George here from NVISION, and today my guest is somebody I've known for probably a couple of years now. We met in the academia space. We were both facilitators, helping teach the next generation of marketers, which is what we were just chatting about over at TMU. Brent has worked on a number of things, including startups, big tech, agencies, and now he runs Growth Crew, and he's building a wicked reputation. I always love listening to this guy because he's got his opinions on a lot of things, and they're valid, and we're going to get into that today. So welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
I love
a good time.
I love having other marketers here and talking shop and kind of nerding out for, the next little bit. So, you're one of the few people in marketing that can go from talking about experimentation to like U6 baseball to hockey and all in the same conversation. So love having you on the show, and I'm excited for our chat. So why don't we dive right into it, man? Yeah. You've been in a ton of spaces in the marketing world. Yeah. And your approach is, and I've heard you through our, world of academia share your thoughts on a lot of different things. What do you kind of see, where do you see marketing as it is today versus when you started like 20 some odd years ago? Loaded question.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it.
Oh, that'll be a quick answer. I think I would hate to be a marketer starting out right now. But I think that's in any industry given the state of AI. I think marketing's having, or growth is having more of a moment than it has had traditionally, because with AI and like software kind of going to zero with air quotes, your only moat is distribution, is like, how do you get this in front of people? And I mean, I'm sure that you see this too. Like the majority of clients that I have are like, we're an AI startup, but we have no idea how to actually position ourselves or get in front of our target market or like what channels to use or any of those things. So right now, I think until the AI comes for us, we're, in the same way that it has for like design and everything else, right? I think that marketing is the moat right now. Yeah. Like how you go to market and then market after that is, I don't know, essential.
So funny you say that. So like basically the principal foundations of marketing, which is know your audience and know how to get in front of them, still is extremely applicable. Yeah. Like we have these conversations too with like startups who are like, we just built the greatest AI thing. I'm like, well, who does it serve and what does it do? And they can't explain it to you. Yeah. It's just because they were able to spin it up in 25 minutes.
Well, and the way that they position it on their website or something is just atrocious. You're like, anybody that reads this doesn't know what you're saying, or what this thing does.
Yeah. And which leads me to something you said, which was really interesting in your notes, which was most businesses have never actually operated at a high level. Now there are many who do, but for sure, just explain that to me. Like, what context did you mean that in?
So I have this conversation having like been at, the Shopify's of the world, and like I was at the DMZ before that, which is based out of TMU, and it's a tech incubator, and like having seen those like early startups and then like operated at Shopify at its level. And like when I started at Shopify, there were less than 1,000 people. And when I left, there were 15,000 people. So like saw that kind of scale, right? Yeah. And a lot of people that get into the, the Metas and the Googles and the Shopifys of the world, kind of once you get into that space, it's kind of like, I have to go somewhere big afterwards. But I kind of made this decision, and, you're chasing. Earlier in my career, I would like chase titles and things like that. But I realized after the fact that like you can go compete with the top like 2% of talent and like try and get the Google job or whatever else. Or you can go into the rest of the world where nobody's operated at that level before. So when you step into a startup that doesn't have kind of like big tech experience, they don't know even whatever you're bringing or whatever skill set you have. They don't know how to do any of that stuff. They've never seen something that runs at like the impact and the velocity of something like Shopify. And I'm not saying that like you have to have worked at big tech companies or whatever to experience that. But most of them don't do the basics, right? So like when you're surrounded, especially like when I first started Shopify, like around 2016, you're surrounded by expert, like everybody was an all-star.
Yeah.
If you're talking to the head of SEO, they are the best SEO person on the fucking planet.
Yeah.
So you can't come in with like, oh, I'm just going to phone it in today, right? Because like you're expected to be the expert in your domain. When I was on the performance marketing team there, when I first started on performance, I moved from like organic social into performance, there were 5 of us and we were spending like $600 million a year. So like if somebody comes to you and they're like, all right, I ran paid social, but I did all of it. And like we were big and it was they had already IPO'd and I ran everything. I built the ads, I built the landing pages. I even wrote email flows at some point because like I just couldn't get the other like the 4 people that ran email. They were like, we don't have time to work on this. So I was like, all right, I'll build the email flows to like grow.
Right.
But everybody there was like an all-star,
the best
of the best. So you have to show up and like be the best of the best at the thing that you do.
So you mentioned velocity earlier, and I'm so curious because there's this preconceived notion that these big companies actually have no velocity. They work slow, like bureaucracy and red tape, and like the fact that you're even mentioning that you were allowed to write emails and there wasn't the email guy overlooking your shoulder to be like, wait a second here, timeout, 15 levels of authority and sign-offs that need to happen. Like, was it just a different culture, different vibe?
Well, it's funny because like at the time they had Shopify was always pushing like, here are our 5 values. And like, their overall mission is like make e-commerce better or make commerce better for everyone because you don't want to limit it. And in reflecting on that, I've realized that like values are the thing that kind of guides decisions when leadership isn't in the room, right? Like when so like here are and it was one of the first things that I did with Growth Crew, despite it being like a small thing, but I was like, all right, what are our values? What do we stand for? And like, what are we going after? Because that can guide decisions towards whatever I want people to think through. So, they had like act like an owner, meaning, and like, and it was basically, and everybody's heard these cliches before, and they do sound cliche, right? Where it's like, ask for forgiveness, not for permission. But that being like kind of reinforced from the top down helps you to just be like, okay, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. And there's tremendous impact with a good value system.
Yeah. And I've seen startups try and be like, well, this is what enterprise does, so we're going to do that. And I'm like, no, that's not what you want to do. As an organization grows, they get slower at things as you put more pieces in place because you don't want to, I'm sure at I'm fairly aware that Shopify is a different place than it was now. But I've seen this too with big startups like Series D, Series E out of the Valley, and they got too big. They brought in too much bureaucracy too quickly. So they don't move as fast as they should. Out the window. Where it's like, well, no, we can't spin up that landing page. And I'm like, why?
Right.
Well, it has to go through this process, and like it's going to take us 4 weeks to get you 2 ads and a landing page. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? Especially in the age of AI. I'm like, here's a mock-up. Claude just did it based on our best practices. Can you just deploy this? And they're like, oh, we got to check with all these people. And you're like, why?
Yeah,
just let me do it. Like, who cares? It's just an experiment.
Yeah, it's funny. I had Reese in here. Who we both know.
I listened to that.
Yeah.
Well, I watched it too.
Yeah, and he talks a lot about experimentation and the importance of experimentation. And I find if you're not doing that today, like in this day and age, you are losing immediately.
Yeah. Why? You don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I've been doing this. Like, I have a good idea of what's going to work and what won't work. But I get proved wrong all the time.
And it's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Like you're like, whoa.
Because I'm like, you like look at it. There's one. I don't want to be the at my old school guy.
We're both
at my old school where I used to go.
Yeah.
But like there was like an ad that I ran at Shop, and I was like, this is never gonna work. And I probably spent $100 million on this one ad that just said like turn what you love into what you sell, and it had pots, like clay pots in the background.
I've seen those. That was you.
Yeah. But I came up with that line. I gave it to a designer, and he flipped it onto like 4 different images. And like one of them was this clay pot thing. Yeah. And I was like, there's no way that this does the thing.
Yeah.
And it crushed. And we did it in every language. Like because when I was there, we expanded to 95 countries and 13 languages.
Yeah.
We did that in every language and in every country, and it crushed everywhere. Like, and you're just like, there's the idea of localization versus transcreation, and we can get into that if you want. Shout out to Julia Greco, who taught me all those things. Is like you can take the same concept and just drop it into multiple markets. The idea of like hyper localization to me, I think, is in some cases matters, and in other cases like doesn't.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement. I've seen, first and foremost, I totally agree with the experimentation where something you just don't know, and then when it works, double down.
Crushed. And I was like, okay, well now we run this everywhere forever.
Double, triple, quadruple down. Like, let's go and then measure it, right? Like the important thing is
for sure, as long as it's consistently performing.
Yeah.
But like you always hear, and it's more on the D2C side, a lot of like performance people will be like, you need to be putting new creative into an ad platform every
26 times a day,
every 4 days, and you need to be day trading shit. No, not at all. I ran that ad for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was still running after, like it probably isn't now, but like,
it worked.
It worked for 3 years. Like, I'm not going to turn it. Why would I turn it off or be like, well, we need to drop new? And I was always testing other things. They just never performed as well.
Yeah. I've always felt like I've heard you talk a lot, and obviously we have our post-class conversations, and this is what intrigued me about you is like the logical nature of how you think makes a lot of sense. Like, if it's working, why break it? Like, spin up other things and try to
beat it.
Try to trump for sure, right? Which is always amazing. But so I'm curious, because this is one of the questions I had for you was, you've worked at Shopify, which is still to this day one of the largest market leaders in its space. And, like, you've been in like meta level environments, so I find that, like, do you find that anything actually breaks people a little when they go back into the reality, the real world? Like, you went from this gigantic organization and now you're in the real world of SMB or mid-market or whatever. Yeah. Like, do you find a little bit of you breaks when you do that transition?
I mean, I think it was hard because you get this sense of like, oh, I'm the shit.
Well, you're dealing with $100 million campaign.
Right? Like, you're just like, oh, I'm the shit. And then all of a sudden you're just kind of out there, like trying to figure out what the next thing is. And like, what will my resume look like? And what logos would like, I always say that like Shopify is my big shiny badge where people are like, oh, you did it there. So that, like, whereas it's way harder to do what I was doing at a startup.
It's so interesting you say
like,
that.
Because if you don't know, like, I had the benefit of like, I had Meta reps that I could they weren't allowed to get Slack. I made them get Slack anyway. And they got it. Like, they were like, okay. Like, and I just had people over my shoulder checking everything that I was doing from those platforms. Most performance marketers don't have that experience, right? So like, it's way harder to just go, okay. And there's so much out there on like you're just like, oh, you can find a guru for everything. Right. But like, a lot of them are full of shit. And how do you know?
I see them every day in my feed.
All the time. Like, you don't know.
Yeah, you have no idea. And this is what I love about the fundamentals of marketing, which are like, again, I beat it to death, which is like, got to know your audience. You got to know what resonates with them. Yeah. You're not, these industry killers that I see on my feed every day now. It's like, the whole industry is dead because of this $29 tool. And you're like,
buy my course.
Is that say sponsored post, like, oh, you want me to buy something from
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
You actually don't know, right? So speaking of gurus, you yourself, I've heard you say you're a growth marketing mercenary, which I found hilarious and weirdly accurate title for you.
Yeah.
So where did you come up with that?
I don't, because like I don't feel like okay, so I think that like founder or co-founder or whatever, it feels weird when you're doing a service-based business, and this is probably just like an internal thing, but I'm like, I don't know, I just do like growth stuff. So like founder seems really weird. I'm not like we're building lots, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't have like a product or something. Nobody's gonna have me on a podcast.
So there's other weird on the other side.
But like that's so like founder just feels like a weird title, and like my like finance guy gets me to sign everything as like president, and I'm like, oh god, like that funny. Doesn't feel right either. Same with like CEO.
Yeah.
My god, like let's just call it what it is. I'm a growth marketing mercenary. You pay me the money, I will grow your business. There we go.
Oh man, it's such a breath of fresh air, because my staff always are like, you're the CEO. I'm like, ew, it's so like,
right.
I'm not sitting on a pedestal on top of the mountain.
It feels weird.
Yeah.
Like when I think of CEOs, I think of like a legit I'm not legit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know my stuff, but I'm not I'm not a legit human. I wore a hoodie and like my skate shoes to this podcast. My wife was like, you don't want to put on like a collared shirt or something? And I was like, when would I do that?
Yeah. It's
Never.
so unnatural, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a basement dweller that like I sit in my office in my basement surrounded by laundry piles that you can't see because of my camera angle. Yeah. And like, that's not CEO stuff,
Yeah. I'm cut from that same cloth, dude. I'm like t-shirt, sweater, hoodie.
But like, and I have 6 people that work for me, and 2 of them are part-time. One of them is my EA and my finance person are both part-time. And I was like, I don't know, what title do you guys want? But there's no there's no levels. I'm not like, you're a senior manager now. You're the director. Like, what are you talking about? And I don't plan to ever grow that big. So
growth marketing mercenary it is.
Yeah, I like the alliteration.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, man, it's fair.
Right.
It does represent you.
Yeah. It's better than like growth ninja or whatever. Yeah, remember that like period? There was a period where it was like everybody wants a social media ninja or like
software platform that was getting presented to me is like the thing, SEO ninja, PPC ninja.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you guys talking
about?
Rockstar.
Yeah. You're like, oh God. Okay.
Hey, the Rockstar one I'm going to hold true.
Yeah. I love dude, at one point I was a social media ninja too. Yeah, all right. Like it's fine. Just at the time. Yeah. Now I'm like, okay, let's just put mercenary. Because that's what agencies are too.
So you just said agencies, and I know you hate the word.
I know.
You hate the word, and I'm like, why does he hate the word? So I'm going to grill you on that.
It's because I always think it's better to build in-house, which is like not self-serving whatsoever. But
and I agree. I think there's a time and place for in-house. Yeah.
But I think how I get a lot of business is because they don't have expertise in-house, or they're looking for a certain level, or they've gone with another agency that was trash. And like most of it's that. But yeah, I don't know. Agency just seems like, because I've worked with the RGAs and all of those kind of big agencies of the world, and it just that's not what I'm doing either. Right? Like my team, I don't have account executives, and I don't have like my creative department over here. Like all of the 4 of us that are core to the business, soon to be 5, are like, we're all hands on keyboard, and we can all do each other's jobs at differing degrees. Like I have a lifecycle person. She is much better at lifecycle than I am. But if I was put in a corner, I could do it.
But there's a lot of intentionality to the way you're growing your business, right? Like you've intentionally kept your head count to where you want it to be.
Yeah.
That's a great way for like anybody who's running a business to be like, this is how I see myself.
Yeah. And you can scale with AI as long as you build process, right? Like as long as you have process and the way that you want to do things kind of nailed down, and you give that and that like context to AI, then it can go and execute, and you can output far more than you could before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're bringing in, and I won't shout her out right now so that I'm not like lighting her up, but like we're talking to like an SEO expert, because I just don't have, like, I know enough to be dangerous in SEO. You can take that into positive or negative.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not an expert at it. And you still need that level of expertise. Going back to what I was saying before about, like, I'd hate to be starting out in marketing right now, because how do you get that level of expertise? Because everybody's
an expert.
Well, everybody's, if you're like 23,
yeah,
like AI can do the same job that you can do, but faster.
Yeah.
So how do you know what good looks like?
Right.
And you don't, or AI is going to teach you, but like AI only has the context that you give it.
I think this is part of the fundamental flaw of what people are observing online and what they're being fed, because a lot of the conversations I'm hearing in our space are like, well, I can just do it myself. And yesterday, an example came up with Claude Design. It's like, client wants a new website. They've got this existing one that's been around for years and it's been successful for them. And we can just do it in Claude Design in a matter of minutes, whatever, half an hour, rebuild the site. I'm like, well, what are the implications of cutting this over with the algorithm? Like, you're just going to kill it? Like any
because
what about titles, metas?
Yes, exactly. Like, are you putting in redirects?
Yeah.
Are you like, and
that.
So many people just don't.
Just cut it over, and it's like, my rankings tanked. I'm not getting leads anymore. Well, there was a reason why.
And there are lots of people that do. We have a client that has like a thing. Am I NDA'd? I'm not going to say it. But like they had like a Wikipedia article that was linking to multiple pages on their site, and they replatformed their site last year, and like nobody knew, so they didn't redirect, and they killed a bunch of these articles on their site, so they just linked to 404s. And I was like, oh my god, what? Like, we noticed this like 6 months after the fact, because like we were brought in 6 months after.
You inherit this
and
thing.
I was like, and I hadn't really looked deep into like, oh, what does your trend traffic look like for the last year? I was kind of like, all right, where are we sitting in the last 3 months? And there we go. And like, they had their traffic had dipped by half just because they replatformed and killed and like, I'm using Wikipedia as an example, but like, how many other backlinks did they have from how many other places that now just 404? And then eventually those backlinks get killed, and oh, look, you don't rank as well anymore. And this was a web design firm. Like, they only do web design, and like and so many of them don't know the basics of SEO or how that works. And they're like, well, that's not on me. It is. Totally, if you're launching the fucking site, it absolutely is.
You got to be so careful with those things. Anyways, this is what drives me kind of crazy today, is like the notion that it's like, oh, it's so easy. I'm like, there's so much complexity to marketing that isn't being communicated, because somebody's trying to sell you their subscription or their app or their platform for $20, and it's going to destroy your reputation if you're not careful.
They're just terrible. Like, and I don't think that anybody's doing it out of malice or anything. They just don't know, they're not meticulous enough. Like, the thing that I say the most is always like, be meticulous. You have to check all the boxes, turn all the knobs.
Totally, man.
Do all the things, because, and there is God, I remember doing this. I replatformed really early in my career. I replatformed a tattoo studio to WordPress, but didn't know about redirects or like any of the stuff that go along with that. And this guy, I invoiced him, and he was like, no, my website traffic has gone to 0, and I'm not paying this invoice. And I was like, no, you should pay it. And he was like, I will come out with my Hell's Angels buddies and we can talk about it. And I was like, you don't have to pay.
And we will tattoo your forehead.
Yeah, like I was like, okay. But and you have to learn those things.
Well, that's the 23-year-old versus the 43-year-old.
Exactly. Like, and I didn't even know why that had happened at that point. I just didn't have the experience with it. Right.
Of course, man. So I read, you wrote another thing that was incredibly true, which I 100% align with, which is most companies are permanently stuck in launch mode.
Oh, yes.
And so what, from your vantage point, like what is...
I mean, I did this rant at Daniel Nieto at BDC does these GTM days, go to market days.
Yep.
And he did one at Task North, and then he did one in Toronto. And I went to that, and they were like, okay, we want you to, we were on a call talking about what they could have me talk about. And I was like, I kind of hate the term GTM. And they were like, what? I was like their whole thing's called GTM Day. Because like the idea of go to market is like, for me, a one-time thing. You go to market, and then you know what you do after that? You're marketing.
You're in the market.
Like you're in market. You don't go like, yes, I guess there are features or whatever that's like, we're fixing our GTM motion. What the fuck are you talking about? That's just marketing.
You can say fuck here openly. Like,
yeah, no, I know. I swear so much. That's why I'm trying to, this is really good for me. My kids are going to watch it at some point. So they probably won't get this far. I'll be like, cool, Dad.
Yeah, Dad, I'm going back to my
that was great. Yeah, I love that you're on YouTube. So yeah, like I wrote this 15-minute rant on like, go to market is a bullshit term. And because, and everyone had spent that day kind of talking about how to build with AI. And instead I focused it on like, okay, if you are going to market, here are the things that you need to have, because you can have all the AI that will do all the things, but if you don't have Google Search Console set up for your fucking website, because people don't see, they gave me the permission.
Here we go.
Like have Google Console. So many companies that I deal with that were like, we're going for our Series A, and I'm like, cool, add me to your Google Search Console, and they're like, what is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? Do you have your funnel completely mapped? No.
Yeah.
What, we have a spreadsheet over here, and we have this thing, and
here's some titles.
We have a post hog, but like we don't really use it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
The fuck is happening? And everybody's like, I'll just AI my way through this. Well, your AI won't be able to do anything if you can't plug it into a well-structured database, right? So I think when people are talking about, GTM or go to market, that's the stuff that you should focus on, not your like, what's our strategy, or like which channels are we going to use? Having everything set up so that for future use. There are so many startups that are like, I'm going to run ads, but they don't have any ad tech on their site.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, cool. You're at least 3 weeks away until you put all the ad tech in from launching. You can't launch tomorrow. If you launch tomorrow, you'll light money on fire. Yeah. And it's just the basics of like checking those boxes. And this is what I get to with going back to the whole like working at a high velocity, high impact stuff. Those are table stakes.
Yeah.
But there are so many people that have no idea what they're doing.
Not at all.
And they just haven't been meticulous to figure out like, oh, what are the things? And you have to make those mistakes too. I remember running ads at the DMZ when I was there, and I didn't have a pixel on a site, and I was like, I'm gonna run Facebook ad. Like if today me looked at the campaign setup that I had, I would be like, this person is incompetent.
Get out.
Fucking fire them. Right. And like, but you need those scenarios. And I think right now with AI and trying to learn everything is like, you just have Claude tell you, oh, do it this way. And you're like, no, Claude, that's not the way to do it. I'm sure you do too. I have so many clients that come and they're like, I had Claude Code, look at everything, and it says this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, cool. All of that is wrong. Let me tell you why.
Yeah, exactly. We do it all. Like, it's so evident now that somebody just spat it out of Claude or ChatGPT or whatever.
Well, and so many people are just like, well, I went to this GitHub repo and I downloaded all these skills and I just dropped them into my thing. And you're like, okay, who's that person?
Yeah.
Who wrote that skill? Like
what are their skills?
We have like a rule that like we don't do any skills. Like we're all in like GitHub with a bunch of skills and everything, but all of our skills are custom built to like the way that we do it, and more specifically the way that I do it. Because I'm always like, well, you didn't check this box. But it's important that it comes with experience, because you know which box needs to be checked.
And
I've seen this time and time again where I just go in to an ad account or whatever. We're focusing on performance, which is like my bread and butter. But at the same time, like I go into an ad account and I just consolidate and like run like, all right, we're just going to run this all out of one ad set or ad group or whatever. and all of a sudden it turns around and you're going from like a 2 ROAS to a 12, and people are like, what the fuck? I'm like, I didn't change anything other than just like the structure and the setup.
Yeah.
And that's all that it takes sometimes.
And that comes with experience.
Yeah.
That comes from experience. So funny, going back to GTM, like, you know, obviously everyone gets hung up on it's like sophisticated sounding and whatever.
God. Like imagine like and I know people that have like a VP of GTM. And I'm like, cool. So you check that box and then what?
And
like
then you're
a marketer. Yeah. Like you're VP of marketing or growth marketing or whatever you want. But
I always find that a lot of what you're saying in terms of like, okay, let's assume they have a go-to-market plan. That go-to-market plan lacks experimentation oftentimes. It's like, this is the thing that we're doing. It's
yes.
Like, what if that thing, like if this is the plan to go to market, what if that thing doesn't work the way you anticipate? What's the backup plan? And what's the next quick experiment that you're going to run to mitigate risk or whatever? And that's the beauty of, I think part of the draw for guys like you and me in this space are, we have the opportunity to play so much and experiment so quick, fail fast, move on. Like boom, 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 run things in sequences and whatever.
Just like learn.
Yeah.
As long as you're learning. I think that people get tied up in brand and how they're positioned, right? Like if you're going to juxtapose growth against like growth and brand are, you know, and both matter. And like I still talk about brand a lot, but the idea that you can break a brand by running a test is bananas to me. And growth, the differentiator that I always use is like growth tries to make money and brand tries to like, you know, make people think in a certain way.
Yeah.
Which are both important, but ultimately what businesses want is revenue.
Yes.
And like they all come with their own variation of like, we want SEO. And I'm like, why do you feel like SEO is a thing?
Somebody told them that
I need a TikTok channel.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
But like ultimately what you get to by asking that is like revenue.
Yes.
Like they're just like, oh, that's where the money is. And you're like, how did you decide that?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. Somebody just told me that I should have a TikTok account and that's where all the money is.
And I'm going to go on and do dance videos. Oh,
cool.
Great.
That's the best move to make right now. Not like fixing your meta titles and meta descriptions and setting up Google Search Console so you can actually parse through and see what you're ranking for. Yeah. Don't do that. Build a TikTok channel and do some dances.
Yeah. It's incredible. So you said growth marketers aren't paid to be correct. They're paid to test like crazy. And I actually think a lot about that in almost like every aspect of life, you know, where even as, you know, leadership, you know, when you're struggling and your mindset is like, okay, what do I do next? It's like, well, try something different. If something's not working, try something different, but have that kind of like lined up.
Yeah.
Right. And this is where I find that this is where marketing is getting interesting, where you can use the tools to give you an output that makes you feel nice and warm inside, that it's like, oh my gosh, look, I'm right with this thing. And it's like, okay, but when you roll that out and it has an implication to the bottom line or to the revenue, what are you doing next, man? How are you going to structure it? And that, you know, it becomes so challenging to try to get that through to people that we don't have an infinite amount of time to make impact. Like, you know, yes, it takes time, but it can't be like, we've been doing this for 6 years and it ain't working. What do we do now?
That's like, we always go with the, like our standard kind of starting out thing is 3 months. Sometimes it takes 4 months, but 3 months I find, and the way that we break it out is like, first month is audit to make sure that everything is correct, to gain context around the business. Sometimes it takes a week. Sometimes it takes 3 weeks. Sometimes it takes 5. It just depends on the size of the business. Then month 2 is like, all right, we've formed hypotheses out of our audit, right? We're like, hey, you're not sending any this happens all the time. You're not sending, especially like with startups, you're not sending any emails to people that sign up for your product.
Yeah.
The fuck? What?
What the fuck are we doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, we just assume that they're going to use it. Okay, what does onboarding look like? Oh, nothing? There's nothing there to teach them how to use this. You just drop them in and then you're like, ha, I don't know why people aren't staying.
Yeah. Why are we not growing? Yeah.
So like you need to discover all of those things. Then through that, you come up with hypotheses around what's like, one is like always like, what's the weakest part of the funnel? Yeah. I'm always trying to map the funnel out, and like the path to conversion isn't linear.
No.
But you're still like, okay, where's the biggest drop off, or like what's the easiest number to double?
Yeah.
Right. If you're like in an e-com scenario, it's just like, all right, cool. You get 1,000 add to carts a day and people only check out twice. That's where we should focus.
Yeah.
Right. So then we run a bunch of tests, and most of the time we rely on paid to run those tests because it helps with velocity.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like
Yeah,
you're just
you
like,
get volume.
okay,
Yeah.
you can do an SEO play, but it's not going to pay out till, 6 weeks to 6 months away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So paid to test and to see if that works.
Yeah.
And we run a bunch of paid tests around positioning and variability within that, where it's like, all right, let's come up with 10 ads, 3 that are motion, 5 that are your value props.
Yeah.
And like, then we're just going to put different value props and we're going to use different styles. And then we run that. And I always tell people, like, we're buying data. That's all we're doing.
Yep.
Right. Is like the first month of tests. And they're like, well, how much money do we need to spend? And I'm like, how much money do you want to light on fire?
Yeah.
Is the question. Like, and for the most part, I won't, unless somebody's already running ads, $3K max.
Yeah.
Because that's enough for you to like, because there are agencies that are just like, we have a minimum spend with us. Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Because I have to spend $10,000 to like
data,
have you look at some fuck off.
Yeah.
But I also don't do percentage of ad spend or anything, because I think that's stupid too.
I always say, like, anybody who approaches us, like, at the bare minimum, you should be at a 50 to 100 a day to experiment.
Yes, exactly.
Like, you should get that. Like, that's kind of like you're not $10 a day ain't gonna give you enough data.
Right? I mean, if you only have $300 though, I'd spend $10 a day instead of $300 over 3 days.
Right. For sure.
But so yeah, then we run a bunch of tests, and then generally we see a winner out of one of those tests, and then we just pull that lever.
And then that pottery ad is the winner, and you're like, "What? I never realized that was going to be the one." So
and then like month 3 is always like, all right, let's build an engine around this thing, so that it's like, how quickly can we spin up ads? How quickly can we spin up landing pages? Or do we expand into a different channel? Do we now focus on SEO and content? Because I am trying to get to a stage always where you're running conversion and traffic and awareness. With like, percentages of your overall spend. So that way you're feeding top of funnel. Like, I hate the tofu, mofu, bofu thing, because again,
but it's simple and it's digestible.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, but the idea that
the idea that somebody will stay in tofu or whatever.
Yeah. Like,
it's like they may go right back to the top if they've been at the bottom and they forgot about you, and they're like, you got to re-engage them maybe through email and bring them back into the mix.
Because it's like, somebody can know nothing about you and convert on your website the first time they hit it.
Yeah.
And somebody else can know everything about you for 6 months and still be top of funnel. But you have to be able to be ready for that across the board, right? It's like, somebody wants to convert now, can they do it? Like, you don't need to educate somebody that has intent and is like ready to go.
Yeah.
Right? You just need to give them I always say, like, your website is where people come to drink your Kool-Aid and then give you the money.
Yeah.
So like, you need to give them enough Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
So like, do you have enough Kool-Aid on your website that if they read enough of it or consume enough of it, that they will pay you the money?
Yeah.
Because you've got to let people go. Most people don't read, right? Like, you get to a website, you read 4 headlines and that's it.
Sold.
Right?
Yeah.
But then the other people that want to do their like due diligence, do you have that information? So many sites are just like, we have a 1-page site that has like 4 blurbs on it. And you're like, that's not enough for people.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, again, like understanding your audience, right? And where they are in their buyer journey and what pain points they have, and structuring it so that you're covering off all your bases.
Like, do you have blogs that address the objections you're getting from current customers, or when people drop you, and like, just the basics, right? But like, the 95% of companies that don't exist in that like upper echelon realm don't have that. They don't think about it. So it's a whole new concept where you're like, have you thought about writing blogs about all of the objections that you're getting in a sales call? Have you thought about pulling those objections forward? I mean, we told a team that they have a sales-led motion. We were like, all right, are you guys dropping all your recordings into like a notebook LM and then just asking it for patterns across the board? And they were like, no. You're like, fuck?
And again, it goes back to that's all data.
Yeah.
It's not just your search console, but now you're collecting this data in real time, transcripts, conversations.
Are you now recording every call you're in? Like, that's how I built all the notes for this thing. I was like, all right, go back through all my transcripts and like,
what do I talk
pulled
about?
stuff out.
Yeah.
Right. And like, cool. And it's all stuff that I've said. It's just like, I don't know how to surface all of the things at once. And that's what AI is great at, is like synthesizing data through context.
So let's talk about AI really quick. So in terms of like what most agencies that you're seeing or organizations, what are they getting wrong about AI right now?
What are they getting wrong? I mean, how do I do this? I mean, I think that I showed a bunch of marketers yesterday in a mastermind, like our like GitHub repo. I didn't know anything about GitHub until about 2 months ago. And like, I was actually late on Claude Code because it was like overwhelming. And I was like, I'm just going to use Cowork. And then just getting into it now, I'm like, I have something like 190 commits on our GitHub that is 2 months old, and I have 190 in the last 7 or 8 days. I'm really good at PRs, and so like, I think that people aren't giving it enough context. And like, even with my team, I hammered the idea of like, we need to write down our process for like the last 2 years. And I think only recently, like in December, if you had asked me like, what can you do with AI? Because I've been like, all right, how do we get it to set up ads for us? Because like, where's the most time being spent? And it's those like rote things. But the idea that like, Meta just launched an MCP, so now everybody can just run ads through Claude. No.
Yeah.
Like, it can't. I think that people don't realize how much like expertise or context needs to be in there. Otherwise, if you just leave it open, like we've been testing, like launching at like just being like, here's the creative, here's the copy, go launch these ads. And like, it's not good. So I think that people have kind of jumped to this idea that like, it can just do it for you.
Way too much reliance on it at face value.
Yes.
Right.
You have to build like the templates and what you want so that it has the context to build from when you're building a skill, whether that be in a GitHub repo or otherwise. The one thing that I've started doing, and I think everybody should do, there's a guy on Instagram, I cannot remember his name. I don't think I would know his name anyway, but I see his videos all the time because the algorithm just knows. But it's all about markdown files.
Yeah.
Like you just build out, that's all. My GitHub repo has no code in it. It's just markdown files.
Those MD files are gold.
With specific skills.
Yeah.
And like based off of the way that we do things. But I also fed it our like process doc and was like, here is literally every step with screenshots of how we do everything.
Right.
And then give that to the AI and be like, this is how you execute.
Follow this pattern.
This is the only way that you execute.
Yep.
Right. If there are any flags, bring them up to me.
Yep.
I will double check them.
Yeah.
Because people are too reliant on it just like being able to do the thing or on other people's skills. Right. It's like, I'll just download this repo.
That from a guy you don't know that's built a vulnerability in the code now that
cool. Or just like they just don't know what they're doing. Right. You don't, again, it goes back to like the gurus or anything else. Like, okay. Yeah. And there are multiple ways to do it. I'm not saying like don't trust gurus, but if anybody's selling a course, then they're not doing the work.
Right.
Like my head of finance has like kind of pushed on me like, we could do another revenue stream if you started selling like your talks or whatever. And I just give mine away for free. Like you can just, they're on my site and
go enjoy them.
Yeah. Like here you go. Here are the talks that I have. Do you want to watch it in a video or listen to the audio? Because like, I don't care. But like, as soon as you start selling a course, and no shade to the people selling courses, but oftentimes why are you selling me on a course if you're so good at this?
Yeah.
Right. And like, so I've held off on doing it. You can watch my talks for free because that way you could take it or leave it or whatever. But like, I'm not trying to monetize it. If you go and do the thing, then it'll work.
Yeah.
Like actually Daniel Nieto, who I brought up,
stopped
me at a party when I had no idea who this guy was. And he went to one of my talks and then just did the things that I said to do, and then sold his company for multiple millions of dollars or something.
Did you get kickback?
And I was like, this was like just a year ago or something. I was like, can I have some money?
Can you come in on it? Like,
right? Because like, I'm just, here you go, do this thing. But most people don't execute. Like maybe that's the AI takeaway, right? Is like, most people don't actually do the work. They like watch the thing, they listen to you give the talk, and then they're like, that was really insightful. I'm not going to do
any of it.
And like, that's how I make money now. Is like, people are like, I'll pay you to do it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, it's when you have expertise backed with AI, like 80, AI can get you to like 80%. Like I think you said it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And the 20% I always call it the final mile, has to be the human being. Like that validation layer is so critical because it can either propel you or it can sink you.
Yeah.
Right. Because I've seen, like, I have literally had prospects come to us and been like, here's what Claude said I should do. And I review it and I'm like, oh my God, this is garbage. I'm like, can you just tell me what did you prompt? Like, what was your instruction? And they're like, I told it to build my ads. I'm like, no, I know that. But what was, no, I just said, build me my ad.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the instruction. So you think this is going to work for you? Like, do you see the misalignment in the...
I just built out like an ad concepting skill yesterday, and I had it go through every single ad we have ever built for the last 3 years. And I was like, all right, pull all of the themes from all of these ads. And like, but that's thousands of ads.
Right.
And I was like, all right, now group them together. And like, that's what AI is good at, is like, okay, here's a huge data set.
Yeah.
Analyze it and pull out the things. And then I still had to edit what it came back with, but like, that's how you do. You don't just go build my meta ads and expect that it's going to crush, right? And even all these platforms are trying to like enable AI. I spend more time, my team spends more time in like Meta and Google Ads turning off AI features than we do anything else.
Well, there's just so much, like, my slop detector radar is so high right now.
Well, and like Meta turns them on.
Yeah.
Like, and we look like idiots to our clients because we go back and we're like, yeah, that's a Meta thing that just gets turned on automatically sometimes. And they're just like, oh, sure. Like, it sounds like bullshit, right? But you're like, every time you're like, all right, everything is shut off. Everything is shut off. Publish. Everything is shut off. 3 days later, client screenshots with like, what the fuck is this? And you're like, oh, and you go back in and it's like, we turned on one enhancement. And you're like, why? Turn that off.
Please, I didn't ask for it, right?
But all these platforms are built for lowest common denominator, right? They're just like, it is for the person that, like, Meta's trying to build for the person that's not running ads.
Yeah.
They're not like, oh, the company that runs $200 million through us for SaaS or whatever. They're not building for that. They're building for everyone so that everyone can run ads, right? And like, because they know they're going to have those clients regardless. But like, Meta is built for e-com.
Yeah, and I think that's why they bought Manus.
Yeah. But even Manus isn't good.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, it's just it's not.
I had Manus yesterday critique my Claude stuff just out of curiosity.
Yes.
Like,
for sure. You should always.
And I'm like, and it was like, wow, they don't like each other.
Yeah, like, it's so good. Like, because you can use different AI. Like, I use Gemini for like a bunch of creative stuff. Yeah, and like I pulled out of ChatGPT, but now I'm hearing like Codex is better, and this is why I'm building like a GitHub repo with all the skills, because then I can just transfer
them over. Yeah,
right. I'm just like, hey, guess what, Codex? Here's my GitHub repo, and it knows everything.
No loyalty to you,
right? Like that's the easiest way to do it instead of getting stuck into an ecosystem.
For sure, man. I want to touch on ADHD because you described it almost like an operating system advantage.
Yeah,
explain that.
I mean, I think that it allows for context switching, and God, I didn't. It's fairly evident to everybody else, but I didn't realize that I had ADHD. And like, I was hanging out with.
I think all of us in the marketing world kind of have it.
Yeah,
because we've been inundated with, like, you're in front of screens all day and there's shit coming at you.
But you're just like, I'm gonna do this now, and I'm gonna do this.
Squirrel. That's fucking cool.
Yeah. And then you like hyper focus on a thing.
Yeah.
And I remember I had a conversation with Sarah Stockdale about this, who runs Grow Class, where they teach like growth marketing. And she had just like got diagnosed and was like, and basically was like, if I have it, you 100% have it. And I was like, oh, really? And I really hadn't like thought about it or anything. But then as I kind of went through getting like diagnosed and like, then I was like, what's the point of getting diagnosed? And people were like, meds, because you know those hyper-focus moments? You just turn that on whenever you want. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Hey.
And now I think it's easier. So one, I talk about it all the time, but then two, it's easier for me to like work with my team because they're aware of it. I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
And like, so sometimes I'm just like, yo, call it out if you, because like I'll context switch between 7 different clients and like be like, da, we need to do this. And even with my like my transcripts and stuff, AI can't figure out what the fuck I'm talking about. It comes back and it's like, you need to do this for this client. And I'm like, that is not what I was talking about.
Yeah. You need to slow the
because
fuck
I'm,
down,
but I think that it's a superpower in that it enables you to context switch and go super deep on a bunch of things all at the same time. Like, and AI has enabled that. Like, the world was set up for people that are not neurodivergent, but AI is set up for people that are, because I can run 20 separate tasks that are doing 20 absolutely different things for different clients with different contexts, and I can swap between those no problem.
Exactly. I'm the exact same.
And it helps you to complete stuff.
Yeah.
Like, whereas, and I'll say that, like, once I kind of started doing meds, and there are downsides to that too, but like all of a sudden, like, revenue month over month stopped looking like a wavy line, and it was just like up and to the right, up and to the right, up and to the right, because I was just able to focus that skill that I really didn't realize that I had. So yeah, I kind of talk about it openly now. It's weird because I went out on LinkedIn at some point and was like, just do yourself a favor and like go do an ADHD diagnosis if you think you have it. And like so many people reached out being like, you're so brave to share that. And I'm like, what? But if you work in a large corporate entity, you can't say that.
Right.
If you're at Amazon, you can't be like, I have ADHD. Like, that's not a thing that they want to hear.
Right.
Which I didn't even think about. But I also, that's why I run my own shit, so that I could just say whatever I want.
I don't profess to know the biology or the understanding of what is an ADHD person or not, but I find myself gravitate to those who are like guys like you, who are like, we can think quick, we can do a lot of things. We're context switching, like you mentioned. Like, I love those conversations more than the just the generic. Like,
well, and I think that those people are built for entrepreneurship. If I was a product guy, I'd build a product. I just don't have that. Like, I don't have a good product idea that I can get behind, but I could sell anybody else's. So I'm like, all right, cool. Give me it. What do you have?
Yeah.
Do you have product market fit? Like,
give me 20 of them because I can do it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because like going through, I worked at an agency and then a startup, and then I was kind of like starting to interview at a bunch of places. Then I got turned down because I was overly honest in a bunch of them.
I've noticed this about you. You're overly honest.
I just say the thing.
Yeah.
Which is like an ADHD thing, right? So like I told God, I was interviewing at Hootsuite for a director of performance, and I told the 2 directors that had brought in an agency to run their spend, and they had a 4-person team. And I was like, this is overkill and one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And like, I did not get that job. But yeah, right. They were like, oh, cool.
Okay, all right.
We brought this agency and you just said it was the dumbest thing ever. You're out.
Yeah.
And I realized, like, I think that, that's what people with ADHD do sometimes, like me more than anybody else. But then like that lends itself to like entrepreneurship and doing things,
it lends
right?
really well.
So like I can jump into a finance meeting and then go do a client call and then anything else, and that's fairly easy
and not miss a beat. Right?
Yeah, and like so to that. See, I didn't even finish that point. The point was that like with all these places that I interviewed, they were like, oh, we don't think that you can do this stuff. And now I run growth for 15 companies and they're all growing at rates they've never grown at before.
Right.
And so it's funny when I think back about like the people that were like, whoa, you can't do this. You wouldn't be good here. And I'm like, I could do it for 15 companies that range from like hundreds of billions of dollars to like a jewelry G2C brand.
Yeah. Wicked, man. And yeah, I think that's an entrepreneur's gift, is that they can do a lot of these, ADHD or not, like just the gift of seeing all the opportunities, because we have to run finance, we have to know numbers, we have to know all kinds of stuff.
Well, and this idea of like you have to niche into a specific thing, I just don't subscribe to that.
Me
like,
neither.
I'm always like, cool, what is this? I've never done that before. I'll do it. Like we had an AI porn client that like, because I'd never done growth for porn. I used to say I've never done porn, or like we started doing porn, and like that's not the way to phrase that sentence. And like I just never done it, so I was like, cool. Like, and I have my own company. I just won't put that logo there.
But
like,
they're gonna pay the bill.
It's not gonna go on my LinkedIn as like, hey, here's a big shiny
porn,
badge, right?
My favorite company, my porn.
But like I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. But same with fintech or whatever, legal tech, anything. If I haven't done it before, cool, let's go.
I love a good challenge.
Right?
I love a good challenge.
I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah, and something new and spicy.
And like I've yet to fail at it.
Yeah.
There have been some close calls, but then I'm just like, we get hit like month 3 and boom, it crushes. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Deep breaths.
Yeah. Record's still intact.
Yeah. All right. Few quick, I just got some quick hits, some rapid fire, like quick answers from you. If you can.
Yeah.
If you can try to.
Yeah, I know, right? I did like the whole time you've probably been like, okay, man.
No,
that
it's
up.
all good, man. I love it. Everything you're saying resonates with me, man. I love these conversations, but I'd love to get some quick hits from you. Most overrated marketing metric.
Oh, fuck. So many. All of them.
Well, they can't be all.
Like,
we use some of them.
Yeah, I mean, revenue is the only one that matters, right?
I think so.
So any of the organic stuff, like the amount of followers you have, that one sucks. Impressions, I hate that too. Like reach is fine, but impressions is terrible.
I hate those vanity metrics. And people get hung up on them. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Most overrated channel.
Ooh. God. See, now you just, what's the most overrated one? We always go, right now, I think that, ooh, this is going to be bad. I think Google right now has not done super well for, like, Meta, on the other hand, crushes. Now, Meta is my stronger skill set for sure, but I have like a really good Google ads person, and like, it's not great.
I agree with you 100%. Google, something's transformed in the last 12 months. That's been
it's so weird,
very
right?
weird with Google.
Like, and like search is going up, and like I think SEO is a thing that people should double down, like SEO/AEO/GEO
whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
But like maybe it's Google, TikTok, Reddit.
What do you think of Reddit? Just what's your thought?
Reddit is dope.
Yeah.
As an organic platform. For brands to break into it, though, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So Reddit ads, I think, have come a long way. I remember like when they launched Reddit ads, I was doing stuff. Sorry, this isn't a short answer. Okay. I was doing stuff with the Reddit team when I was at Shop, and so like I meet with the Reddit team, and I'm like, so how does the algorithm work? And it's 4 people sitting in a room, and this was like 2017, so like no shade. And they just go, well, we are the algorithm. And I was like, what? What do you mean? So I think Reddit is coming up. I think Pinterest is a good place to run ads too. Like it's slept on.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is the most overrated. Cause like you can do the same thing on Meta and it costs you a quarter of the price.
Fraction of the cost.
Even if you're B2B, the idea that B2B companies need to go to LinkedIn to run ads is the dumbest thing. Like, sorry if you guys do that. I know you're like a B2B dude, but like I have like this fintech client that does stuff for wealth management people, and they were gonna launch on LinkedIn, and I was like, or we just launch it on Meta, because everybody has an Instagram or a Facebook account. And
I always say it's about the positioning.
Yeah.
Like LinkedIn is awesome. It's the boardroom.
For sure.
Cool. But the people in the boardroom also like to party, and they're on Facebook.
Like that's
So, or the analogy I'll use, like on LinkedIn, you're Dr. such and such and such. And on Facebook, you're grandpa such and such and such, or grandma such and such. And so you're still there.
Yes.
And it's just the positioning of what you're...
And the idea that you have to go compete with all the other idiots that are just like, we only run LinkedIn ads because we're B2B. And you're like, that's not where people don't open LinkedIn and be like, I'm going to make a decision on the next SaaS tool today while I scroll through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. They could make that decision anywhere.
You can make it anywhere. And again, I think context becomes important, and how you position it becomes super important, because it's like SaaS professional, suit and tie SaaS, and party fun SaaS.
But you got to go compete, and you pay a premium to be on LinkedIn. I'm like, or just run Meta and then take what works there and move it over.
Yep, absolutely.
So Google or LinkedIn? Sorry,
it's all good, man. All good. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Right. And the last one I'm going to touch on, which is something that we are hearing, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, and I align with your mindset, is SEO dead or just evolving?
Oh, it is not dead.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you get into the LinkedIn algorithm on like SEO things, there's either somebody claiming that it's dead, but then at the same time, they're juxtaposing that with, like, other people are juxtaposing that with, like, Anthropic and Claude are all hiring for like head of SEO.
Yeah.
Because it's still, SEO is just how machines read your website.
The content.
Yeah. Right? And you know what AEO or GEO is? Same.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same.
It's a crawler that crawls your copy and says, this is what they do.
Cool. Like, the newest thing is like and this comes down again back to the like 95% of like, it's just do you have schema on your site?
Schema.
Do you have a schema? Do you just do that? Just do that as a starting point. You can absolutely get into like deeper pieces, but like, do you have schema on your site? Do you have an organization? Is it a website? Do you have product? Do you have FAQ schemas? Yeah. No? Okay, go do that. Guess what? Oh, now you show up. Like that.
Or the LLMS.text.
Yes.
It's simple.
Exactly. Like, it's just
so simple.
It's basic stuff. Yeah. You don't have to, if you optimize too much, like, and SEOs know this better than anybody, is like, Google comes out with a new update and like everybody's like, ooh, this is how it works. It's Panda 4.0 or whatever, right?
Panda.
And then you got to optimize this way now. But if you go too far in the weeds, when the next update comes out, it fucks you.
Yeah.
So do the basics.
Eat.
And then, and then like, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And then like from there, yeah, fine, go do some things. But I think people overcomplicate all of this stuff
all the time, because it is a complicated, it's a complex world that we live in, and
for sure
there's a lot going on. But yes, I think that you're spot on. I think SEO will crush, and it's crushing anyways. I think kind of like, it's dead. I'm like, no, man, it's just
cool.
That thing is now crawling the same thing that thing crawled.
Yeah, anybody that says that anything's dead is just doing it as a hook.
Yeah,
like that's just a hook
for sure. Okay, last question. And 10 years from now, what do you think people will realize we got completely wrong about marketing in today's era?
Ooh. Oh. That's such a big one. That's such a big one, though.
I know. Because there's a lot going on right now in marketing, man.
Yeah. I mean, I saw this like tweet, you've probably seen it too, where this woman just is going off about like, there's an ad here, there's an ad there, you need to subscribe to this, you need to do this. Like, I think that a lot of the pricing models are going to move away from subscription and like move to a token-based model. So, I mean, but that's more of a product thing, isn't it?
I'll give you an example if you want.
Yeah.
Where I think.
Yeah. Hit me with one.
I think organizations lost the passion to have in-person events as a marketing strategy. And I think if we don't get back to humans, getting together with humans, and talking shit, talking shop, talking how are your kids, connection.
Like, I think
it was events, they're so expensive. Like,
the one, that sparks because the one thing I always bring up is like authenticity. Right. And I think that everybody talks about it, but like community is a thing that you absolutely have to be authentic about. Like
Yeah.
you can't just like fake it.
Yeah.
But it's time consuming.
Yeah.
Right? It's time consuming to do even, this is why we don't do organic social, because I spent like 8 years doing organic social. To do organic social well is so time consuming. And when you talk to anybody, they're like, I want to pay $2,000 a month. And you're like, no. You need somebody that like lives and breathes your brand 24/7 and is on all platforms
Yep.
all the time. Right? Like, and I think that's I would broaden that to like the idea of community, because that can be a moat.
Yeah.
But you have to invest time. You can't just, and I think the other side, I brought up another one, is like the AI of customer service might be a problem too, but that's not a marketing problem either.
There's all kinds of other
right?
problems.
But I think that like customer service, when people just want to talk to somebody and like it's just outsourced to AI and that AI is bad, that's not great either. People are going to look back at that and be like, no, there's that human, as we remove ourselves further and further, like if AI can help you do the thing, dope. But if you need a person that can help you do the thing, then you should do that. And that speaks to your point about like events.
Yeah, I think there's got to be a resurgence of people getting together with people to build communities, understand what's going on. That's why I love the podcast, because I can talk to guys like you who have, seasoned perspective on what we've seen evolve in this industry for 25 some odd years or whatever. And it's like, man, I hope we never lose that human touch.
Yeah.
So that's super important.
I know. I guess it's like, it's the double whammy of COVID and then AI.
Yeah. And it is a lot of work to put content out there organically. And, you're seeing all these, like I saw a video with Gary Vee the other day, and he's like, I put out, or maybe it was Hormozy, Alex. I think it was Alex Hormozy. And then he's like, I put out 600 pieces of content a week. I'm like, what the fuck? 600?
Well,
I'm like, okay, but you're a multi-millionaire. You've got 30 people on your team
that are cutting
Everybody's
clips,
following you all day.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not the normal person being able to do that. And I get it. Volume and velocity are important, but
but no, it's the one thing. Every marketing strategy can be broken down to 2 words: provide value.
Yeah.
That's
period.
it. But that's, every company could be broken down to that, because your product has to provide value, but your marketing should seek to provide value. So maybe that's the takeaway. Thank you for helping me get there.
Well, I'm glad we worked this out.
Yeah, right? Like, but that's provide value. Don't try and scam people. Don't like oversell or what, like
Just be honest.
Just put it out. Like with ads, I find that people try too hard to go like real flowery with positioning or whatever. Just say the thing straight down the pipe. Put your logo and one sentence and run it as an ad.
I love that.
And like say the thing that it does.
Say the thing.
Just say the thing, just straight down the pipe. You don't need to like dress it up or anything.
Yeah.
Say the thing that it does. I've seen this work so many times where people are like, we're going to build this high fidelity ad and everything. Just say the thing that it does. Make it look ugly because it stands out.
Yeah.
This idea that everything has to be like super
Picture
polished
perfect.
is fucked, because like you're trying to garner attention. So you need to do something that actually gets attention.
And that ties back to authenticity.
Yeah.
Because not everything is going to be a Pixar film, no. Sometimes raw works, and being straight down the middle works.
Ugly ads win.
Yeah, I love that. So tell our audience how they can find you. How do they get a hold of you? Where do they go to learn more about you?
BrentSterling.com exists. I should probably look at that. GrowthCrew.co is our website. If you want to check out my decks, they're at growthcrew.co/decks. I do not have it on the nav because I just don't feel that self-important. So you actually have to go to that URL. LinkedIn, I guess. Follow me on LinkedIn. If I don't know you and you try and add me on LinkedIn, I'm not going to add you. That's just not how I work. I need to know you. Then I use it like a Rolodex.
Fair enough. Hey, man. So that's.
But follow me if you want. I'd never post there anyway.
He doesn't post there, but he's a great guy, and I appreciate you coming on here and the show. And I hope you all in the audience who are going to watch this and listen to it, share it, whichever camera you want.
Yeah, right.
You could talk to all of them. But thanks a lot for being here, man. That was awesome.
Thanks for having me.
I love talking shop. I'm grateful that our paths crossed, and I guess I'll see you in class.
You will. I'll see you there too.
All right, man. Thanks. Later, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. If you got something out of it, please like, subscribe, or share it with your friends.